everybody, and welcome to the second installation of Love Republic Radio. Today we have a guest that you might be familiar with because she already writes for the Love Republic blog, her amazing life coaching blogs, and it is Shanelle. How are you, Shanelle?
I'm great, thanks, Case. How are you?
Good, thank you. It's so wonderful to have you on here today, and I'm really actually very excited to speak about this because, as you know, I used to be a life coach as well, and I just love it so much, and I love personal development. So today, I forgot to actually mention that today's show is brought to you by Shanelle's company, Connection Coaching, and I'm just ready to jump straight into talking about how much I believe in life coaching. So, in your own words, Shanelle, can you tell us what life coaching is?
Yes, I'll give you my version because there's plenty of versions out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the simplest way to explain what life coaching is, one that I picked up recently, is, famous sports teams. Soccer teams, football teams, cricket teams, volleyball teams, whatever, they've all got a coach. They've all got somebody that works with them to teach them and show them a better way or ways that they can improve and things like that. And basically what a life coach does is they do the same thing but focusing on you as an individual and your life and what's important for you and helping you get from where you are now to where you want to be in the future.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And it's not like psychology, right? So I did psychology for a couple of years through the Griffith University on the Gold Coast, and I got very frustrated with constantly trying to classify people and put people into boxes to make you feel better about your client and make them feel better about themselves because they belong in this tiny little box where you're trying to stick them. Whereas with life coaching, you're not classifying people like that, are you?
Not at all. Not at all. Life coaching is totally different from psychology. I actually experienced a psychologist after the birth of my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that just stands in my mind with that experience was that every time I went to see her, I was made to tell the same story over and over again. And all that would do was dredge up all this emotion around this particular event that had happened.
Yeah.
And I'd walk away from that and I felt helpless. I felt hopeless. I felt even worse than when I walked into the room. And you're right about the labelling thing because she labelled me. She labelled my partner, who she'd never even met.
Yeah.
And it was like, looking back now, like I can see with a clear head, I'm like, oh my God, like that did not help me at all.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, you get a life coach and you can turn things around in an instant. The past has got no power over you. It's done. It's dusted. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what life coaching is about. It's about getting you out of that rut or that hole or whatever it is that you've put yourself in.
Yeah.
And whatever story you've been running to survive on and changing that and helping you, give you the tools to get you back on track and out there to be the person that you're put on this earth to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right, isn't it? It's the tools that you can provide people and you help them help themselves rather than saying, okay, well, this is what, because of my classical training, this is what I believe you are, so you have to live up to this paradigm that I've now stuck you in.
Yeah, there are no boxes. Get rid of the bloody box.
Yeah, exactly. Best thing ever.
You can have whatever it is you want to have.
Yeah.
Whatever story you've been telling yourself for the last however many years, you can get rid of that. You can change the story. You can start looking at other things and other ways of getting what you want.
Exactly. And that's the thing as well. It's thinking outside of the box and looking at ways to better yourself and your life, and life coaches just have so many tools to help you look at things in so many different ways, and it's not just looking in one spot. So if you're having trouble in your relationships, well, you look at your whole life spectrum, don't you? So you look at your health yeah,
because everything in your life is a reflection of actually who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a society where we get taught to blame everything else. Oh, it's the weather, it's the politics, it's this, it's that. We get taught to look outside of ourselves for the answer rather than looking internally.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows you like you know you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you can look inside and find the answers there, you don't need somebody else to make you happy when you can find happiness within you.
Mm.
You don't need somebody else to love you if you can find love within you.
Yeah, and they're the most purest forms of love and happiness, because the more you obviously give to yourself, the more you have to give to others.
That is totally right.
Mm.
And that's a lesson or a journey that a lot of us go on.
Yeah.
Like I know in my motherhood journey, I went through a phase where I was giving everything to everybody else and I wasn't putting any fuel back in my tank.
Yeah.
And I crumbled in a heap.
And yeah, that's just so typical for mothers though, isn't it? Because we think that we need to just constantly give, and we're great givers, but not the best receivers.
And yeah, this whole theory that, hang on, I've got to fill my cup first.
Yeah.
And then I've got enough there to give everybody else. Because when you can do that, you do it with love, you do it with gratitude, you do it with appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not resentment, it's not jealousy, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're taking care of yourself, and that's what you need to do. And it's so much easy. Like, it's easier said than done sometimes. And
totally,
yeah.
Because we're conditioned to think that it's bad
mm-hmm.
to look after yourself.
Yeah.
It's bad to put yourself first. You're being selfish, and you're being whatever other bloody word you want to throw at it.
Yeah.
But really, no, you're not. It's when you're looking after yourself that you are dependent, that you are the adult. You know, you're not needy, you're not relying on anybody else, you're self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When you're out there and you're like, hello world, I need some love, I need some attention, it's like, oh, no, you're not, it's not serving.
Yeah, and you'll fall for anything then. It's like, I know that back like in high school, for example, when like I'd just get a crush on the worst boys, and they'd give me attention, and I was just happy with that attention, even though the situation or the relationship wasn't any good. I just wanted that attention and love, and because I wasn't giving it to myself, I just settled for it from someone else, you know?
Yeah, because, you know, anything will do.
Mm.
You know, someone looks at you the right way or says the right thing to you, well, bang, you're hooked.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
done.
You're the one, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in high school. But
yeah, well, even now, so like you women and men experience it at all ages, and I'm very happy to have done my life coaching and to realize this. So then you don't just fall for any old joker to, at least you're both making each other's lives miserable rather than going out.
But that's the other thing, like going down the relationships track for a minute, because that's something that's quite dear to me.
Yeah.
And my heart as well. Like, we don't get taught how to have a relationship or what a good quality relationship is, or to actually take the time to sit down and, I guess, put the criteria together. So, for want of better words, like, what do you actually want out of a relationship?
Mm.
Because, you know, once the honeymoon phase is past and, you know, you get to the times that it's rocky and it's tough, what is it that's going to keep you there?
Yeah.
What is it that's going to make you go, hang on a minute, yeah, we're having a bad time, but how can we work on this to move forward?
Mm.
And you see it so often now, like so many marriages and relationships just break up compared to, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago when you married somebody, you were in it for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't matter what happened. You had married in the eyes of God or your family or whatever it was. And you stuck. It was a commitment. But now it's like it's just something that's on the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no meaning behind it.
Yeah. It's like the whole pendulum theory, how it's swung from one way, like you're in it for life, to the other one that, okay, well, how many marriages am I going to have in my lifetime, you know?
How many times can I put on the white dress and have the,
yeah,
you know, this is the one. No, hang on a minute. No, this is the one.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like and I guess it's really reflective of the kind of society we're living in at the moment. Like it's changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
And so much technology and so many new things coming.
Mm-hmm.
We've not caught up with how to deal with that as a human race.
Yeah. And it's,
you know, like you get Facebook now and you get your old high school flame messaging you and it.
Yeah,
like,
wow.
That never happened
Yeah,
before.
that's a variable that's going to throw you out.
And all of a sudden, bang, you're back feeling that way you were feeling when you were 15, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, hang on.
Grass is
That
greener.
was fun and exciting.
Yeah.
My relationship now, it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy come, easy go.
Yeah, because my husband's not making me happy.
Yes.
So
And my
you might make me happy.
my husband's not romantic, and my husband doesn't say nice things to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, my partner's an asshole, and rah, rah, rah. It's like, well, no, hang on.
Yeah.
You want romance? You start it.
Yeah. So what's your favorite relationship tools, so to speak? So what's something that people could do to sit down and really reflect on where they are to help their intimate relationship?
Do you know what? The biggest secret is it all comes back to you.
Mm.
You've got to have that relationship with yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
So know who you are, what you stand for, what you value, what you won't put up with.
Yeah.
Knowing all of that, then you can start to look outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually been able to do this in my own relationship, like bringing a child into our relationship. So 1 + 1 = 3 in quantum physics.
Yeah.
And it just, having that extra responsibility and a baby and all that, it changes the whole dynamics. So the first few years being parents were horrible for us because we just didn't know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
And I used to be one of these people that were, you know, my partner's an ass, he doesn't do this, he's not romantic, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I was actually down in Sydney at a workshop with Alice Hammerley, and it was based around sex and relationships. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And she talked about, you know, you be the change. So if you're wanting romance, you start to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we've started to do in our family is we'll sit down and have dinner at the table most nights of the week, but we have candles on the table.
Yeah.
And we'll have dinner by candlelight. Now, the funny thing is that I'm also teaching my daughter the importance of this as well, because if we sit down for dinner and the candles aren't on, she's asking for it.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's nights when my partner's like, you know, we're missing the candles, so we're going to put them on. And it's just funny how just something tiny like that,
Yeah.
it's changed that dynamic.
Exactly. And it's just small changes like that you just have to make. Everybody thinks that you have to kind of upend your whole entire life, and you need this to-do list of changes on your fridge that you need to like tick off, and it's like a mile long. And then people struggle, and because we still have bad days and good days, and then we end up giving up and thinking, oh, well, everything's supposed to be perfect because I've got my to-do list of changes and I'm trying, but it's just not working. And
yeah, this is how it needs to be. And
yeah,
no, get rid of that.
Exactly.
Put that with the box and burn it.
Yeah.
But you're so right. It's just the little things. It's like, what small thing can I do today that's going to, you know, how can I show my partner that I appreciate them? What can I say? What can I do? You know, and like I love whitewood pens and mirrors. Quite often leave a little message on his mirror in the morning because he's always up and gone to work before we're up. So I'll write it the night before.
Yeah.
Just something to let him know that, hey, I know you're up early. I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
And it's funny how it comes back.
Exactly.
You know, like the random text message or the random bunch of flowers or the fact that he likes to cook our dinner most nights. That's his way of doing the romantic thing.
Exactly. And we all have different ways of, like, people just say, oh, men and women are different in the ways that they show love and whatever, but it's not just men and women. Like, I know, like, women vary from one to another about how they want to be appreciated and shown love, and it's so important to communicate that to each other so you do know what each other likes and how to make sure that you're showing your partner that you feel that they're special, but in a way that they know it.
Yes, you're so right with that, because early on in our relationship, my partner liked to cook all the time, and I thought it was him controlling me.
Yeah, wow.
He didn't like my cooking. And it was getting to me one day. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I cook for you because I don't want you to have to cook when you get home from work, and it's my way of showing you that I love you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, that's a little bit different.
Okay, that's not how I'm used to getting love, but if that's your way, then I'll learn to accept that. we have had conversations since, like, to let him know that for me, I need to hear it.
Yeah.
And I need the touch, I need the kiss or the cuddle in the morning or when he gets home from work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need from him. And so just being open, I think, and having that communication and having those chats where it's not, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, but it's an open platform to go, well, hey, this is where we're at now and things are okay, but what can we do to make it better?
Yeah, exactly. And I love one of the very important things that always sticks in my mind is that the more communication there is, the less assumption there is. And assumption, like, is just, assumptions to me are a plan to fail. So
you can't assume everything.
Exactly.
And you can't assume anything at all.
Yeah.
And I guess having been on the coaching journey, like knowing now that if something's said and it's a blanket statement, go, well, hang on, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you really mean? Because what you said is really broad, but what is it that you're getting at?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, trusting your partner enough to sit down and actually communicate what you mean, and also trusting yourself to be honest and say, well, this is what I actually want, and this is how I would like to be respected and loved. And when you love someone, you're willing to do whatever it is to love them in the appropriate way, because it's not just being loved, it's the privilege of loving someone as well.
Well, that's it, and showing it and giving it and doing it, and
So I also wanted to talk to you a bit about the subconscious mind, because that's also a massive thing in both psychology and life coaching. And you wrote a bit of a blog about it. So would you be able to tell us a bit about your subconscious mind and how it affects our everyday life?
I most certainly can. It's the subconscious or the unconscious, I'm going to call it unconscious.
Okay.
Mind is it's phenomenal. It's the biggest tool that we have, and yet we know, or are taught so little about it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of research and a lot of stuff going on now around the study of the brain and the mind and everything like that. So the fact that only, I think it's about 3% of our mind is actually conscious, so things that we're actually aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest is the unconscious or the subconscious, whichever term you prefer to use it.
Yeah.
And so what happens, so in the conscious mind is all the stuff going on that we're aware of, but what's happening out the back is all this other stuff. So in any given moment, there's all this information coming at us. Like right now, you're probably sitting on a chair and you can feel the chair underneath you, but you might be able to feel the breeze, and there's traffic, and you're thinking about what you need to have for lunch and what time you're going to pick the kids up from school. And something just happened on Facebook, and there's just all these things, and it's millions and millions of bits of information.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a set of filters designed kind of like filing cabinets, I guess,
Yeah.
in our unconscious mind.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever been in a room full of people and someone says your name and you can hear it?
Yeah, exactly. From all the way on the other side of the room. I heard my name. My ears are burning.
Exactly. And it's like, and that's mainly because one of your filters is set up to recognise your name.
I love the new car analogy with that. You get your new car and think, oh, no one's got one of these, but then you see them everywhere. You're like, oh, God, everyone's got one. Everyone's copying me now.
They were there all along.
Yeah, exactly.
But then that takes you down the path, too, of what you focus on is what you get.
Yeah. And that's one of the massive teachings in life coaching, isn't it?
Absolutely. So if you want to bring it back into the relationship scenario we were talking about before, if you've got the belief that, my partner's a dick, my partner's not romantic, my partner's stubborn, my partner won't change, guess what you're going to bring into those filters of yours? You're going to bring in all the evidence of all of those things.
Yeah.
But if you turn it around and go, oh, my partner's loving, my partner's appreciative, my partner's grateful, you're going to start to filter in that evidence.
Yeah.
And you're going to start believing, oh, shit, my partner's changed. Well, probably he hasn't really changed. You've just changed it the way that you're looking at him or her or whoever it is for you.
Exactly. It's like when you're in a bad mood, no matter what anybody says, it's going to be wrong. So because your filters are picking up the negative, and that even goes into like quantum energy and everything like that, but we won't go down that path today. We'll save that for another talk.
That's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah.
But you're right, like people who wake up in the morning and something bad happens, and then from that one thing they decide that the whole day is going to be crap.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? You've just got your filter set at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But going back to the filters, so we said we had about 2 million bits of information. I have heard reports of there being 20 million coming in. But what our brain does is it will condense it down into about 135 pieces that it will actually take in.
Yeah.
From there, it'll filter that into the filing cabinets of about 5 or 7 different ones. And it deletes, it distorts, and it generalizes these things based on our past experiences, what we believe, what we value, what we're focusing on.
Yeah.
And then they sit in those filing cabinets and ready to come out at the next time. So as an example, like we've all got different things that we focus on. So 2 people might witness a car accident and have a completely different story to tell based on what they filter in and everything like that. To me, that is just completely fascinating.
Yeah, it's huge. It's I remember I watched a YouTube last year, I think, on a naval officer who was interviewing some, just like there was a hit and run outside of the administration office at a naval base last year, and all of like the 3 different administration ladies gave 3 different descriptions of the car, and the one naval officer who was in there gave a very good description of the car and like the license plate, because he's trained to actually put aside that fear and reduce the distortion and actually look and take notice rather than kind of going into survival mode.
Yeah.
And it's just, our minds are amazing. And I was like, oh, I swear that car was blue. Well, no, actually it wasn't. Oh, maybe it was like a Holden. No, it was a BMW, but nice try.
Yeah.
You're afraid. That's okay.
Yeah, it's incredible what we take in, and the way somebody says something to us and the meaning we assign to that, it's like, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
So, with the filing cabinets, it brings to our attention what it believes that is important to us at that point in time, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then, so it stores information. So I'll take, for example, my little girl. When she was quite young, probably about 1 or so, we were toddling along the path near our house here, and this little dog came up and jumped on her. So she's got a reference point there of this dog jumping on her. Now, even at 4, she's got this fear around dogs. It takes her a little while to warm up to a dog. So what obviously happens in her brain, she sees a dog, and then immediately her brain's pulling up this image of what happened to her when she was 1. And she's going, well, that's what happened then. This is a dog. So dog equals jumping on me, attacking me, fear, I'm afraid. And that's what happens for her when she sees a dog. Now, obviously now with things like NLP and, all this other research that's being done about the brain and how the fact we've got the ability to change the neural pathways and the meaning we assign to things. Yeah. I can work with her now to change that.
Exactly, because it's amazing how little your average person knows about fear and how it is quite a biological response, I guess. I don't even know if that's the right term, but because of the pathways that we've set up in our brain from a memory.
Yes. And that fight or flight kind of moment.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, we can change it.
And a lot of the patterns that we run were actually imprinted on us between the ages of 2 and 7. like when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And we're learning and we're watching what's going on in the world, and and it just I could sit here probably all day and talk to you about this, but just the flow-on effect from these small events that happen to us and the meaning we give them and how long we carry that meaning with us.
Yeah.
And whether it's serving us or it's not.
Exactly. So we are, gosh, I can't believe we're already 25 minutes in. It's gone so quickly.
Really?
Yeah. So, gosh, we're going to have to get you back in again. I think we're going to have to make this a regular segment. I love talking to you about this stuff.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just amazing. So if we could, if you could leave our audience with something they could do, like what's your favorite tool or favorite exercise that people could do now to kind of improve their life or improve their own self-awareness or something?
Oh, that's a big question. There's so many things. What's one thing?
Yeah.
Be
easy on them. Make it just
I'm going to be easy. I'm going to say start writing down what it is that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
On a daily basis. Just make it 3 things. And you can do it however you choose. Some people like to do it in the morning when they wake up. And some people like to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you, however you can fit it in. But 3 things that you're grateful for. And once you start practicing that gratitude and being thankful and being grateful, you start to open up possibilities.
Yeah. And
you'll start to shift your filters, and it'll just open up so much within you when you start looking around you, going, oh shit, things aren't as bad as they seem, or I'm not the bad person I thought I am, or just having gratitude.
Yeah.
It helps so much.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like, I really do liken this exercise to magic, because it just changes so much and it filters throughout your whole life, and it does take obviously more than 2 days to kind of see the results, but you just really start noticing and you start paying attention because you are shifting your attention.
Yeah, you are. You're moving that.
Yeah.
Moving it from the negative, starting to look at the positive.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the positive, it's natural that you're going to start filtering in more positive things.
Yeah.
And having the gratitude journal, the gratitude list, or whatever it is you want to call it, it's just a starting point.
Yeah. And that's, again, it's like we can take this back to your subconscious mind. You're telling, or your unconscious, you're telling your unconscious that things that you're grateful for is now really important to you.
Yes.
And so it'll zone in on those things for you.
Totally. And you're playing with your mind. You're changing it. You're going to go, well, hang on, we've had negativity for the last 20, 30 years. Now I'm going to play a different game. I want to have a look at the positive side and start to bring that in.
Yeah.
Which, you've had the benefits of it. It's just getting the word out there.
And you're never ever too old or too far down the track, to change your mind, because I really don't like that saying you can't teach an old dog a new trick, It's like,
yeah. No, that's
bullshit.
So wrong. Yeah. You can change, it doesn't matter how old you are. Age is just a number, and if you're going to buy into, I'm this age and I can't do this, well then you're out the door already.
Yeah.
You're done, you're dusted. But if you've got the belief that, I can turn things around, I am in control of what happens and how I perceive things and how I live my life, and it is possible to change.
Yeah, exactly.
That just takes me down a whole other path too, that we think that change is this big scary thing, to be feared, and, nobody likes change.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're changing every single moment of every single day. You woke up this morning, things have happened to you today already that have changed that person from who you were when you got out of bed.
Yeah, and I've been actually looking into the quantum physics kind of side of that lately as well, and that's, holy God.
Yeah.
There's so much out there that we don't know, and we just need to start looking and start paying attention, and you can really just do simple things that have nothing to do with quantum physics in your mind, but it really changes so much. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's just like adjusting the sails on your ship to take you down a different course.
yeah,
Just something tiny.
exactly. Well, thank you so much, Shanelle, for today. It's amazing, and I can't believe how quickly this has
so
gone.
welcome. I had so much fun, actually.
Yeah, great. We'll definitely have to get you back on and get more tools out of you. So the exercise today was to start writing down 3 things a day, you said, that you're grateful for?
Yeah.
And just, guys, give it a try. It's great. I promise you that. So you can go to Shanelle's website, which is connectioncoaching.com.au, is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'll put the description, the link in the description for you, and keep an eye out for Shanelle's beautiful blogs that she writes for us and puts up. They go onto the Love Republic blog and also her own blog. And what's the I'll put the link to your Facebook in the description as well, so people can easily access that.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for today, and yeah, we'll see everybody next time.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate.
That's okay. Bye.
See ya.